Hi, Tess from Enchanted Circle with you. And 2022, what's going on, what's going to happen, and all the rest of it, hey? Let's have a look. I've made some notes, so it'll make it quicker. Don't want to be here all night. So 2022, which of course you do realise it does start on the 31st of October, so the 1st of November. Because we go by the Witch's New Year, which is the 31st of October, which of course is Halloween. And we go by that simply because it's in our nature to do so. We don't actually follow, it's like that's the change of the year. We don't actually follow the New Year's Eve, the 1st of January, because we just don't. It's just in our nature. What we do is September, October, we're busy. We're cleaning up, we're cleaning out, that's internally and externally, and we're finishing things off. It's like everything has to be done right now before November starts. And we all know why that is. It's because it's the new year. That's when the new year begins. And you'll start there, making promises to yourself. It's like, you'll do the better eating. You'll do the, never doing this again. I'm giving that up, But you start making those changes now. You don't start making them on the 1st of January. You're making them now. Those plans are getting set into motion, into place now. Okay, so 2022. Of course, it's a 6 year. And sixes, what are sixes really good at? Sixes are really good at talking to the dead. They're really good at looking after the sick and decorating. And so if you're starting some sort of business where you're decorating things, making something pretty, making other people pretty, making their environment pretty, whatever it is that changes it so that aesthetically it looks fabulous and looks fantastic, people are going to come to you, okay? You'll probably thrive during this thing that's going on in the world. I'm not saying it because I get cut out and all that sort of crap. You know how it goes. Now, 2022. Now, 2022 is all about your nervous system as well. What you can take, what you can handle, and what you can't. And, of course, there's world domination. But it's only one part of the world that wants to dominate because the rest of the world is quite in balance and quite in harmony with each other. And they know that they need to depend on each other for survival. So it's like, yeah, this part of the world's there, that part of the world's there, this part's, and everyone's happy with that. And everyone understands that that's how life is. And you go from one place to the other and everything. And you depend on each other for different stuff. But there's one part of the world that wants to take over and say, no, I'm the dominant one. I rule. Everyone else is subordinate. And it's a case of we're all got to step up. And instead of being so sensitive that you can't say what it is and who it is and all that sort of stuff, we've got to actually stand up and say, well, no, we don't want communism in our country. We want democracy. It's free will, it's sovereignty, it's freedom. And that's what it's all about for us in 2022. All right, let's go a bit further, shall we? We got this bit. And then we put all the twos into the grid. And of course, it's karma. There's certain karma that has to be completed and it has to be finished. And if you're not, it all depends on your individual contract, but overall, globally, it's if you're not living your best life and you're not standing up and being the best person that you can be, you're going to be put into situations and you're going to attract situations that make you really stand up and be more of who you are and let go of the karma. So you got to learn those lessons. If you're finding that you're getting more and more repeating patterns that just keep going over and over and over, it's time to have a look at yourself and go, well, you know what, this has got to change because it can't always be everybody else and I can't always be the victim and I can't be this and, and yes, with the 22, there's going to be a lot of like psychopaths, sociopaths, all that type of thing. They'll come out of the woodwork. They want to be noticed big time. So that's probably to do with some of the world domination too, where some of them want to just take over and dominate the world. Okay, so anyway, back to us. What I'm seeing here, okay, you've got your fours, Got all your 2s, that's your 0 going on. And you've got 4 and your 6, and of course there's an 8. And where did I get the 8 from, you say? Because that's 2, 4, 6. And 6 and the 2, 6 and the 2 is the 8. So, and the 8s are about letting go, moving on, changing the energy, and getting stuck. And it's like, don't get eternally stuck or perpetually stuck in that situation, you know, move on, make a change, or you will be just going over there, and nothing will ever change. So you've got to change. Now, what I'm getting here is, there's so much. Let's start with the fun stuff, shall we? The 2s being your nervous system and repeating patterns, ancestral karma, and Akashic records. And it's also about stepping up and being more of who you are meant to be this lifetime. The 2s are going to make you feel really, really nervous and question everything you're doing, but you do have the ability to move forward. That's what you're here for. So if you're wondering about making changes, go ahead and make them for yourself. There's true love. Thought that would make some of you happy. True love, there's romances, there's exes who want to come back, and if you're really not into them and you just want to hurt them, it's like, that's your shit. You got to really deal with that. If you want them back to keep them, that's something different. But if you do actually want to move forward, if you think it's true love, then it'll be true love. But if you want to move forward and meet someone else, there's plenty more options. Now, what I see also is Space Cadet. And with Space Cadet, it's like all the logic is just going to go from your mind. And it's going to be the same with a lot of people. They're not going to be logical. They're going to be airy-fairy. And you'll wonder where the hell their head's at. And it's like, it's okay. Give them a break. Don't be so hard on them. They'll come back to earth. They just might need a bit of prodding. Some grounding, and be gentle with them. You don't have to be rough with them. And of course, there's a lot of space travel, and that means that, and it's space exploration and all that sort of stuff globally. But also, like, what I feel is make it fun. If you're going to be meditating and, you're upgrading your meditation so that you're actually exploring more of what's out there, and you're doing your energy pools and all that sort of stuff, and expanding out, it's like, when you're doing that, have fun with it. See how far you can go. See where you can go. Don't limit yourself, because it's like we're all star seeds, yeah? And there's higher realms to be had, and you're stepping up. You're like, you're up in your game, because you got like your star seeds, and you got your star crystals, and there's the Atlantis and Lemuria, there's the Egyptology, there's the quantum physics, the quantum leaping, the quantum, all that sort of stuff. That's really coming into play where it's more accessible for the layperson, and you probably find that you're more drawn to that. Go and explore, have fun, try it all. That's what you're here for. Try and see what you like and what you don't like. Try it, see if you enjoy it. But it doesn't mean to say, like some people say, that you can't be here and go there and do this in different levels and, what do they call it? Different, like 3D, 4D and, all these different dimensions. It's like you're on your own path, and the dimensions that you go to, that's really up to you. There's no set particular way to go to different dimensions. You just have fun and explore. Okay. Natural disasters. There's going to be plenty of them. I just feel like they're just going to be all around the globe. That doesn't feel like it's going to stop. It actually feels like it might increase, especially with waves and water. Like a big, huge... I got a thing up here, don't worry. It's my Merkaba. It's big, it's huge. So... yeah, there's a lot of those. And exploding stars. So if you've got access to really have a look at the solar system and nighttime and see the stars and everything, it's like, it's going to be a lot of fun out there. Stardust, personal upgrades. Now, what I've seen you may see it too, that your chakra system is a bit boring now. There's upgrades. What I actually see is there's 1,000 colors below our feet. And then there's the russet, and there's the black, and there's magenta, platinum, yellow, gold, and turquoise. And they're the colors that I see when I meditate as my chakra system. And not the set chakras like that. They're just spread out. So I'm pretty sure that, you will see a different system too. And what I also see is like each and every cell of the body has its own chakra system. So every time you meditate, just concentrate on each cell, just lightening up, brightening up, just beaming, yeah. And it's like, just have fun with things, enjoy them. And really switch yourself on. You can switch those cells on to heal. You can switch those cells on to do this, that, and the other, whatever it is that you want to do with your body. You change the cells in your system. So you do have control. That is more quantum physics stuff that you can do yourself. And it's a lot of fun. All right. Now, did I cover world domination? Yes, I think so. We know that there's people out there who want to rule the world. It's a year, 22's. It's a year of accumulation. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of things happening all at once. You don't just have one experience and then you go, oh, you know what? I've had this relationship and now it's time to move. You'll go through this relationship. This will happen. That'll happen. The other will happen. Everything will happen at all at once. It'll be like, you lose particular people in your friendship group. Family member will move on. The change in job. Excuse me. The house price will drop or something, or you may be renting and all of a sudden you have to move house. It's like everything of that will just happen. The car breaks down. It's like everything happens all at once. And that's what happens with 22s. So be prepared. It's like that's really hard to be prepared for, but it's something that, don't freak out if it happens. Just expect it, because there'll be at least 5 things at a time that seemingly go wrong when it is actually, in fact, the universe's way of clearing the path for you. And how you handle that is how evolved you've become. Because if you can see that as a blessing and go, oh, well, now I've created some space, I can move forward with that, it'll be easy for you. Mm-hmm. So it is about letting go of all the sentimental stuff and knowing that there's new experiences. And it's like when you've got to let go of something, especially material stuff, it's a case of hang on to 1 or 2 things that are really sentimental to you. The rest, let it go. Whether you give it away, sell it, whatever, you got to do what you got to do. But you got to move forward and you got to create space. Because if you don't create the space, you can't have any space to let new things in. Now, houses, land, property, all that sort of thing. There's purchase, buy, own it, and land rights. And I'm saying here, do not give up your land rights. If you've got land rights, don't let them go. You'll never get them back. And don't go by empty promises, because there'll be a lot of empty promises and it won't be worth the paper it's written on. Contracts. Yes. Signed in gold. Triple gold. Yes. Just get them signed over and over and over again. There's going to be a lot of flaws. Hang on to everything you have with the land rights. Don't let them go. Increase them, but don't let them go. Don't swap them for something else, and don't let them go and say, oh, but that's something else better's coming in. If you've got land rights, don't let them go. If I made myself clear on that, I hope so. Because any treaties with the Indigenous people, the government's not going to stand by. They're not going to stand by the people. They're not going to stand by and live up to or honour those land rights that they're making new. I don't see it happening. Not at all. It's like they want the water, they'll promise with this hand, but they'll certainly take a lot more than what they're promising, and what they're promising will fall through somehow, Now, there seems to be financial stability, which is going to come out of the most unexpected ways. It's like everything's doing a 180 or 360 or whatever. It's like there's things that will be really secure, seem secure. You know, if you're working at a bank or something and you think, you know, you got the most secure job in the world, and you might not have. Yet you could start up your own business, you know, being a beauty therapist, and bang, you more secure than anyone else. It really is not a time for the normal structure. Everything's changing. So don't get caught in that thinking that you got complete, utter, total stability, because the financial stability is going to change. You can get yourself in a position where you will have financial security and financial stability. But what I'm saying is that don't go on the old structures. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, basically. Oh, different realms. Yes, the sixes. The sixes will see more phenomena, you know, that like the psychic realms and all that sort of stuff. Supernatural worlds, people are going to be seeing more of that. And that's going to open up. More fairies are going to be letting themselves know. If you're meditating and stuff like that, and you're going to see more dragons, and they'll be dragons from all over the world. They're not just going to be particular ones to your heritage. They will come from all over the world, and you're going to see lots of them and plenty of them. They'll have messages for you. Some will be friends. Some will, well, they're dragons. What do you expect? Forgotten people. Forgotten ancient people. There's ancient civilizations that have been forgotten. Ancient realms are coming back into play. Now, if you're a really spiritual person or highly evolved in some way, shape or another, you're going to tap into these, and it's a case of learn what you can from them, because you may not find it in any of the history books, because it probably won't be written down somewhere. It's like you're talking to probably the only soul survivor, the only people who will actually speak with you, that sort of thing. What else is there? The Mediterranean, what I see, there's witches. The witches from way back in the day, they have information for you. No more burning of the witches. Mediterranean, the camels, the travel. To me, that's local travel. And since we've all had experiences, we've all been this, we've all been that, every different lifetime, our soul has been something. You know, you've been the victim, you've been the perpetrator, you've been this, that, and the other. You know, we've been it all. Some of us our lifetimes, we can remember that, and we've carried it in our body, and it's time for us to let that go. Others of us, we have no idea, we don't remember any of that, okay? And I'm getting with the travel, don't be alone when you go traveling. It feels to me like you go in pairs or in a group. But it just feels to me like if you're doing solo travel, is probably not a good idea at the moment. You will want somebody around you. Plus, it's more fun and enjoy yourself. It's like, it's all right if you're doing a day trip, but it's like, you know, if you're going to a different place that you've never been before, take someone with you and enjoy it. Health. Health is all about the nervous system and emotional support and looking after yourself first. And if you're a carer, the carers, they need to be caring for yourself more than what you are looking after your person, because if you're not looking after yourself just as well as your person or people that you look after, you'll end up in hospital or worse. Okay? Does that make sense? So if you're a carer or a nurse or a doctor, or you're in the complementary therapies and all that sort of stuff, if you're not looking after yourself, expect to get sick. So look after yourself, make sure you've got all the care that you need so that you can care for the other people. You know this. Okay, but sometimes we need a reminder that it's okay to go and get help and assistance and do what's right for you. Now, the nervous system, I'm getting here kidneys, adrenal fatigue. A lot of people who may not be able to, there's sciatica and scoliosis. You know, that, yeah, we know that. Okay, more people aren't able to afford the complementary therapies that they used to be able to afford. So it's a case of there's a barter system, and also allopathy that wants to take over, but it can't, because it does actually rely on the other complementary therapies, because it just does. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, yeah, look after yourself in whichever way that you need to do that. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but one's great for an emergency. Like, you know, you've had a car accident and now you're bleeding. It's like, go to the hospital, not to, kinesiologist. And if you're not bleeding and all that sort of drama, and it's just your health is like you're not feeling right, yeah, go see your kinesiologist, whoever you go and see. Go see your chiropractor if your back's sore. That type of thing. Don't get them confused. It's not a year for arguments. There's going to be a lot of arguments, and there's going to be a lot of that energy that, because everyone's so anxious, the anxiety. And a lot of people want to be right. And that's perfectly understandable, but you don't need to be one of them. You've got to make up your mind. You've got to make a decision. Are you going to stand there and argue with this person, or be online and argue with this person, however it goes? Or are you actually just going to back off and say, you know what, you're right, and go and get a peace of mind, go and have a bath and go and relax, and let them fight whatever battle they're fighting. You don't have to be part of it. All right, money, yes, that'll come and go. Some people will splash that around. 22s, they're pretty good at that. They love to do that. Pardon me. And long-term investments. And it's like the money's not going to be seen. Like the large amounts of money, it's just going to be a click of the button and the money's through. Access and all that sort of stuff. It's just the money's available, the money's gone, purchasing a house or a business or something like that, and it's just click and it's done. Whereas what I'm seeing with the smaller people on the ground, it's a case of, and I'm getting Colombia here, I don't know what Colombia has to do with that, but I'm feeling like it's the money has to be in the hand, exchange the money in the hand. So if you're dealing with people, make sure it's in cash wherever possible. But if you're dealing with higher, bigger, larger business corporations, etc., it'll just be electronic transactions. A lot of the people on the ground, us little people, we're going to be relying on the cash. So don't let the cash system fold. We've got to keep the cash system, okay? And there's plenty of money to be made. Don't be caught out thinking that there's not, because there is. A lot of us are going to have to rely on the barter system. And that'll be awesome. It'll be fun. Make it enjoyable, If you're in a position where you can do that, do that. Right. Next. Sorry, there's still a lot to get through, and I want this to be quick. Writers must write, and artists must express themselves. If you don't, you'll end up, you'll make yourself sick. So it's basically, you'll become boring. So create and don't stagnate is basically my motto there. That's for 2022. Create and don't stagnate. It's because it'll be one or the other. Because if you're not creating with all those twos to let out all that nervous energy and all that, that's just going on in your system's going, you're just going to put yourself in an early grave. So go and express it and let it out in a real positive way. You know how to do that. Take up a new hobby. Who cares? Try something different. Have fun. And that's another thing. 22s like to have fun and enjoy themselves. Changes. Next, it's changes in employment, new careers. And some of these changes with homes and everything, they're going to be forced, yes. Some will be pleasant, some will be better, and some will be worse. So if you're going into a situation where you feel it's going to be worse, get the hell out of there as soon as you can, all right? Especially don't get caught in awful living situations. 22s cannot handle it. Their nervous system just doesn't cope. And they take on everyone else's problems. And so when you're doing that, it's Access Consciousness have a really good thing of return to sender. And then they say the clearing statement. And if you can do that, that will help. Do whatever you can to return back to sender what it is that's coming to you. Because what happens is empaths, and especially with 22s, and because it's a 22 year, that means everybody, you take on other people's ailments or thoughts or whatever as your own, and you do think it's your own. And then it's not until someone says something or you notice something around you and you realize, oh, that's not mine. And as soon as you change that, everything becomes lighter and easier for you, and you go back to being you. So, and there'll be a lot of that because it ends in a 6, because it makes a 6 year. That's, about the dead, talking to the dead, having things to do with the dead. A lot of, like I said before, a lot of the supernatural stuff. So you will be talking to the dead quite a lot, quite often. Lots of prophetic dreams will be coming through as well. Do have your dream diaries and all that sort of thing. This is what I mean. Do write things down. You will need to, especially not only just for your personal self, but there will be some of you who will write books and publish, and I feel like it'll be published within the next few years. Artists, if you're doing on a larger scale, like you do larger murals and things like that, it does feel like you will be seen. You can go to galleries and things like that. It'll probably be more online with some of you, but it does feel like the exhibit, okay, is the word, that you will have your artwork shown. People will see it, even in lockdown. Lockdown's next thing, hang on. First of all, if you're looking at moving house, it feels to me like February next year and June and November. There are going to be certain surge times when it's time to move. There'll be times when everything, is fairly stagnant and nothing can be done. And all of a sudden, boom, that's when things will be changing. Some of you will be going overseas. Some of you will be going across water. Some will be across mountains. Some will stay in the local area. Some are not going to go very far. And some are going to go back to your parents. It's interesting. Lockdowns continue. Government's still not listening to the people. Some governments will be. They're starting to wake up and say, hang on a minute, all these people, what are they talking about? They're onto something there. But some aren't. And we know that the dictatorships, they're still there because there is a particular one who wants to rule the world. I'm getting here to actually join forces with people and don't segregate. It's like, just because someone believes this and you believe that, don't segregate. It's like, still, you've got to accept them. People are always going to be different. Doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean you're right. Doesn't mean they're wrong. Doesn't mean you're wrong. Just means you're different. And that's what it's about. And that's okay. And it's about bringing in the balance and the harmony. And 22s, all those 2s, you're going to be more sensitive. So if someone walks in the room and says, I don't like that picture, don't think that they've walked in and said, I don't like you. Okay? They've walked in, they've decided they just don't like that picture. They don't have to. Who cares? Big what? What? They didn't think it. They actually said it out loud. Doesn't mean it has anything to do with you whatsoever. Okay? Know that you are still loved and you are still perfectly you, and we accept you. Okay? Accept yourself, love yourself, and you'll be accepted everywhere you go. And you'll be safe everywhere you go. Now, there's alignment, and I feel like social activities, they're going to be a bit awkward, especially with all these bloody lockdowns and crap like that. If you can get it out, do go out. 22s, they do need to be invited. They like to be invited. They do also like to do the organising. So keep inviting them, because they do like to do the hermit thing where they're happy in their own company. They can quite enjoy that, but they also need to get out every now and then. So if you're in a position where you can actually help them out and get them outside of the house and get them, somewhere, whether it's the beach or a cafe or, talking with friends again, Yeah, and friends. That's the next one. Friendships. It's time to not get used. If you are being used in friendships, it's time to actually step up and say enough's enough. And you'll be making more friendships and nurturing yourself. And the more you look after yourself, the better your relationships are. So the more self-care you do for you, the more your relationships expand and become better. All right. Last page. Are we on the last page? Yes, insurance. That's another big one, isn't it? Because everyone's going to start suing each other, and they already have. They've already started with that. And everyone wants to sue each other. So if you've got people coming onto your property, or you're looking after people in some way, they're in your care, you're selling a product, whatever it is, make sure you've got insurance in every way, shape, or form. Especially car insurance, house insurance, personal insurance, whatever insurance it is, make sure that you've got to cover it for everything possible. Especially if you've got a lot to lose. It's like, you may not think that you've got a lot to lose, but when it's gone, you're going to want it back. 22s, on the most negative side, there's the psychopaths, hypochondria, hypersensitivity, there's the paranoia, there's being oversensitive, there's all the aches and the pains and the emotional stuff, and everything hurts, and they take on everyone else's problems. So, yeah, that's probably the worst thing, and it really drags them down. And so, of course, that causes anger issues because they're angry at themselves, they're angry at everybody else, and they can't express themselves. They do need to go out and scream every now and then, so do allow them to go and do that. Don't put them in the pressure cooker, because if you do, expect them to bite back, because 22s can do that in a very, especially if they've got the warrior in their archetypes, they will get very angry. So to keep them placid, make sure that they've got an outlet. And this is to do with your children as well. Make sure they've got an outlet. You can't expect them to be home 24/7 and not being able to go, ah! It's like the same with you. It's like you've got to just go and let it out some way. And maybe, make it a regular thing. Oh, who was it? There was someone I was watching the other day. Kate and Anthony Gold, is it? I think it is. And they were saying about an anger letter and writing an anger letter. And so you write everything that you're angry about, and then you go and burn it. It's not to send, it's not for anyone else to see, but it's like, it's an anger letter just to release what it is that's pent up inside you, so it doesn't hurt you and it doesn't hurt someone else. And you don't want to push anything down into the nervous system. You want to release it. All right. And I think a card, and then we're done. And the cards will come from The Magic of Nature Spirit Cards by Belinda Payton. That was a lot to get through, wasn't it? Okay, here we go. Oh, step back. This situation will resolve itself if you take a big step back. Sometimes we see more clearly when we're not in the eye of the storm. Ooh. And that is also, of course, the dragonfly. And dragonfly is about the dead, or those who have passed, who are coming to say hello. Coming to say, hi, I still think of you, I still love you, watching over you. It's like the angel world, different realm. And also the insects, it's like they're all here to live their life too. We've got to live in harmony with them. Step back from a particular situation, and it looks like, you got all your symbols here. It's like there might be an Aquarian. It's a masculine energy. It's the heart. It's step back. Let them be who they are. Maybe they need space. Sometimes you do have to just step back, and it's not what it is in your head. Sometimes you just got to let it be what it is. And when you step back into it, it'll be fresh, it'll be different, it'll be changed, it'll be working out perfect for you. That's how you just got to look at it. Everything is working out in your favor. It's perfect. It's awesome. And I know a lot of people say, perfect this and perfect that. What I see is perfect to me is something that suits you absolutely to the T. And when it suits you, yeah, it's going to have different flaws and different this, that, and the other, and what other people would see as, oh my God, that's just, you know, how unworkable. It's not about them, it's about you. It's what suits you. And to me, that's what makes things perfect for you. And it says here, well done. Keep up the good work. You are heading in the right direction and you are nearly there. So persevere. So keep persevering. Do not give up. Step back, but don't give up. And again, another dragonfly. And these are the dragonfly cards. So 2022 could also be a dragonfly year for you. That's another section, and I'll let you research on that. Okay, thanks for watching Enchantress Oracle. Enjoy 2022 and look forward to seeing you again. Ciao, darlings. Mwah. Uru.